This is Pastor Shay, aka Chaplain G, coming back at y'all with another word of encouragement for today. So check this out. Yesterday I had a friend of mine come through, and we were just chopping it up, talking about life, and he was saying how heavy life is right now. Like, he's got a bunch of stuff going on in his personal life. He's got a bunch of stuff going on at work, and it feels so heavy on him that he just needs to come and talk and just offload some of what was going on. And I appreciated the conversation, and I was there. I was glad I was there to help out in that situation, right? But then, as I'm listening to him and as I'm reflecting on all the stuff that's going on in my own life, I have to admit too, like, things are just heavy. You know what I mean? Like, got personal stuff going on, got stuff at work going on. I turn on the news and there's heavy stuff going on in the world, and there's all these pressures to be a good person, to not do this, but to actually do this, and there's pressures from God that as we go through this life to cling close to God and to turn away from sin and temptation. Like, there's all these pressures in this life, and I think sometimes we forget that we don't have to carry those pressures alone. Let me read y'all something that Jesus said. This comes from Matthew chapter 11. This is going to pick up in verse 28. Y'all check this out. It says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." There's so many times in this life that we get in this mode of just pull yourself up by your bootstraps and keep pressing, and don't let the pressure get to you, and you're broken if you ask for help. And man, it's such a dangerous message, because under the weight of this life, many people have been crushed. Just all the different areas where all these pressures come from them. And the biggest pressure we have is the temptation to turn away from the living God. It's the heaviest burden, man. And we can fall onto this burden in two different ways, right? Like, we can just live like willy-nilly, like just wilding out and just do all kind of crazy stuff. And a good portion of the world is living that kind of life. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to hear what God has to say. God is not the lead of their life. And so they're just going to live life as if they are God. Full control of their own lives, right? To the threat of their destruction, they don't care. They doing their best life, right? That's one ditch on one side. The other ditch is you got these people that are so obsessed with trying to live this holy, righteous life, and they miss it. They miss how gracious God is, and how, like, Jesus has fulfilled the letter of the law. Like, he's fulfilled it, and what God is asking you to do now is have faith in him and trust him, rely on him. And so that's the other ditch that people fall into, and the weight of the law, the weight of right doing, the weight of trying to live a life that's holy and righteous to God. That's, people break under that weight. And Jesus comes along, he says, take that weight off and give it to me. My ways are way better. Matter of fact, take my yoke. It's easy and light. It's belief. It's trust in God. Not to say that life is not going to be heavy. Life continues to be heavy. Not to say that sin and temptation go away. Those things, they're still around. And they still assault us on a daily basis. Not to say that the pressures of work, the pressures of home, the pressures of extended family, not to say that all that stuff is going to go away. But what happens is, as we begin to trust in Christ, who has this easy and light yoke, as we begin to trust in him and rely on him, we see that God handles that stuff. That as we have faith in Jesus to God, just take it from me. Like the pressure is too much, the demands are too much. It's just I can't handle it. And God says, yeah, I've been waiting for you to give it to me. Hand it over, son. Hand it over, daughter. I got you. He says, take up mine. It's easy and light. Come learn from me, he says. I am what it looks like to have this gentle and lowly spirit. And having this gentle and lowly spirit where you're not angry all the time. You're not walking around with a chip on your shoulder all the time. You're not a doormat either. You're not a doormat for people. Because that's its own pressure. You know what I mean? He says, come to me. Come to me. Believe in me. Rely on me. Trust in me. That in itself, from a Christian perspective, man, it's a hard thing most days. But it's one of the most fulfilling too. And I pray that on one hand, like if you don't know what Jesus means by come to me, hit me up in the email, man. I'd love to walk you through it. On the other side, right? If you've been saved and redeemed by Christ and you're still holding on to some of these pressures in life, I want to remind you of this verse. Trust in Jesus. Come to him. Take off that heavy load. Lay it at the foot of the cross. Take on Jesus. Gentle, lowly, easy, light. Those are the descriptions. That they're life-giving descriptions. And I pray that you can know that today if you've forgotten it. But that's my word of encouragement for today. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Drop me a comment sometime. Love to hear from y'all. All that stuff's free, but it means a lot to me because it gives me encouragement to keep going. And I love y'all. I'm praying for y'all. And until next time, grace and peace.